I asked you about God. You said you are agnostic.
Yeah.
Tell me more.
So I was raised Catholic.
Yeah.
I've had a little Muslim phase. But I would say now I just like to take what I can from each religion because it's very difficult to, first of all, go into something fully. Like if in Islam, as a Muslim, you have to deny Jesus was crucified. So to me, that's just like going against my whole culture. So how can I do such a thing?
When you say you had a Muslim phase, what do you mean by that?
So I said Shahada, I prayed,
okay.
and all this. But like there's some things that just don't sit right with me. And like I said, to deny your own culture, like my country has a culture.
I asked you about God. You said you are agnostic.
Yeah.
Tell me more.
So I was raised Catholic.
Yeah.
I've had a little Muslim phase. But I would say now I just like to take what I can from each religion because it's very difficult to, first of all, go into something fully. Like if in Islam, as a Muslim, you have to deny Jesus was crucified. So to me, that's just like going against my whole culture. So how can I do such a thing?
When you say you had a Muslim phase, what do you mean by that?
So I said Shahada, I prayed,
okay.
and all this. But like there's some things that just don't sit right with me. And like I said, to deny your own culture, like my country has a culture. I don't know, where are you from?
From meaning born or from meaning
Ethnically.
Pakistan?
Okay, so this is what I'm curious about. 'Cause there's a big Pakistan festival there, right? Shia Islam?
No, not Pakistan festival, Shia festival.
Okay, but isn't it predominantly Pakistan?
No.
No? Okay. But anyways, my country had a culture before.
When you say your country, you're from Poland, right?
Yeah.
You're talking about Poland or you're talking about
Poland.
the UK?
I'm not British. I was
Okay.
born here, but I'm not British.
Okay. So similar situation. You're ethnically Polish
Yeah.
and born here.
Yeah.
Okay, so when you're talking about your culture and stuff like that, it's a predominantly Christian country,
Yeah.
but technically secular, right?
No, I don't think so. The
think
Catholic
Poland-
Church has quite. Some people argue too much power. I don't know when you say secular.
Yeah.
There is a separation of state and church.
It's
but
officially a secular state.
Yeah, but like I said, the church still has some power in our country.
Yeah, but that's a different thing, isn't it? I wanted to know if it's Christian country or a secular country, officially.
This country is secular, but I wouldn't compare,
Officially, yeah.
Yeah, but I wouldn't compare Poland to this country in that sense.
Yeah,
It's
this
not-
country is not majority Christian either.
Yeah, so whereas we are majority.
Oh, in terms of like the adherents, like the population, yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, in that sense, sure. So you're giving preference and priority of your culture over theology, or break that down for me?
I don't think there's nothing wrong with following Islam.
Do
But
you,
if
do
it
you
was to
believe
take-
Islam to be true?
No, not fully.
Do you believe in the Islamic concept of God or the Christian Trinitarian
It makes
aspect
sense.
of God?
It makes sense, actually, maybe even more so than Trinity.
Yeah, of course.
It's a pleasure to meet you, my brother.
Thank you, brother.
Always listen to you.
Thank you,
Yeah.
brother. I appreciate it. Thanks.
So
So
I
you're
could even admit that.
so logically you're saying the Islamic concept of God makes more sense.
Sure. Yeah.
Do you believe it to be logically coherent?
Not fully.
Okay,
Because
what bit do you think is not logically coherent?
well, I just feel that God. I feel like God. I've had difficult times, and God don't help people. You cannot, like, people can only help themselves.
Bear in
I
mind,
feel like God doesn't
It's,
help people.
I'm talking about the concept of God,
Yeah, but
not
if
the morality.
If God is omnipotent and all-knowing, then He would help those who are suffering, wherever it be. but he don't, and he will never do such a thing because he's not there.
Where is that coming from?
Just look around the world.
Look around means that you see somebody suffering, they're suffering at that moment.
Yeah.
Does it mean they're going to stay like that forever?
I think there's more and more suffering
That's not what I'm asking.
compounding every day.
I'm saying if you see somebody suffering, and let's just say they are speaking to God, Allah, they're a Muslim, can you say for certain they won't be helped possibly in a week, a month, a year?
I would advise, I think it's good that the people cling on to something because sometimes there may be a positive placebo effect in believing in God. But do I actually think he helps everyone that suffers? No.
That's not the point.
Sure
There's a slight change here. So your point was that look around.
Yeah.
God isn't helping people. Firstly, you haven't spoken to everybody. Secondly, you might see somebody suffering now in maybe 1 week, 1 month, 1 year. They might be in a better situation than you. And they may have learnt and grown from that negative experience. Is that possible? But you just wouldn't know.
All right, I'll give you the benefit of...
No, because that's a philosophical discussion that just because someone's suffering now, that doesn't necessarily mean that if it's a test for said person, it doesn't mean that
I
they...
feel like that's just a cop-out though, because the people, like, I don't even want to bring these people into it, where there's this group of people that have been under occupation for like over 70 years, yet their God don't help them. So what's the point even in believing in this so-called God if you don't help them at
How
all?
do you know?
How do I know? Because I can see there's no end to this.
No.
So
you're
if
looking
they-
at
it's
the
better
whole.
off-
You're looking at the whole rather than the individual parts. Now, if we believe that there is a God, God has a plan, and after hardship comes ease. That's the principle. Let's take your. Let me
only
respond.
after death there's ease. The suffering is everyday thing.
No, not necessarily. After
It is-
hardship
it's
comes
part
ease.
of the Four Noble Truths in Buddhism. That's what I see.
Buddhism's
so I
not-
take things from all religions.
Okay, let's keep religion out of it then, yeah? Let's go with a secular concept, the region beta paradox. Have you heard of that?
No.
Region beta paradox.
Okay.
That, if I was to explain in a nutshell, means that anything that is perceived to be bad for you eventually will end up being better for you. This is something that is non-religion specific. Now, even if you want to take the fading effect bias, which again is as a concept non-religious based, that over time a person learns from their mistakes, their misgivings, and actually ends up being a stronger and better person. Bringing religion now into it, like Omar, the Caliph, Omar radiallahu anh, he said sometimes people with the worst pasts make the best futures, i.e. people that have gone through difficulty and hardship, their character is built and they are perseverant in such a way that they are now able to be better contributors to society. Now these are just a few psychological principles that I've given you that are non-religious based, because you said, you know, this is something that's said by religion.
I would say that's more evolutionary based. Like the weak ones will die out and the strong ones will survive and take those qualities from their hardship. I feel like it's more of a...
I think that's a cop-out.
Evolutionary.
Yeah. Shall I tell you why that's a cop-out? Because evolution is to do with survival of the fittest, right?
Yeah.
But is it survival of the fittest to take the weak, take them to hospital, spend taxpayers' money, nursing the people that are injured back to health? That's against the theory of evolution. Why help the weak?
It's because we have societies which are based on sympathy.
That's non-evolutionary.
Jesus.
Sympathy is non-evolutionary. It's survival of the fittest, not survival of the people that have the most sympathy.
That's what I believe in to some extent.
Think about what I said. Does it make sense? Yeah.
I understand.
It was a good point.
Yeah, yeah.
Even charity. Why give to the poor people? They're weak. Let them die.
Yeah,
That's
but
what evolution says.
Even from that, even from those circumstances, we've a lot of great people have come.
But that's non-evolutionary, though. That's not evolutionary. You're now going to sociological. You're talking about sociology now.
Yeah.
And morality.
But that's, they learn from those hardships. Whereas religion, I would say it's more like an opiate.
On what
Where-
basis? What's the evidence?
Because it's just like it's a belief that God will make things better one day, whereas
But it's a belief based on reasoning and logic.
I don't see it though. Like I said,
Okay,
see
maybe that's where-
suffering is compounding every day. There's more
Right,
rules.
then maybe that's where the conversation needs to be. Is God logically coherent? You said the Islamic perception of God makes the most sense. Now, you as an individual, when you look around and you see this design, what do you attribute this design to? Chance, nothing, or an agent?
I don't know.
Okay.
That's just what I want to put.
Right. So I don't know is also a logical claim. That the evidence that's there, you're rejecting that, and you're saying, "Oh, I'm
I know
unaware."
there's the various theories. I can't 100% put my faith in one theory. There's the Big Bang theory. There's the God as the first uncle's
Big Bang,
cause.
Big Bang theory is not a philosophical theory. Big Bang theory just talks about how matter, time, and space started.
Yeah,
that
but we can
doesn't-
see cosmic background radiation. We can see the start point. There's all sorts of evidences. I'm not even a physicist.
No, but
I know that there's
the
these
evidences
exist.
tell us that a Big Bang took place, i.e., the start of matter, time, and space. It doesn't tell us if there is a first cause. For that, you have to go
But
into
then
a.
people like you point to God as the first uncle's cause. But to me, it's a easy cop out bet. Whatever.
Okay, no, that's good. I'm glad you're honest because that's what I want to explore. I don't want to give you a cop out answer. I want to explore the things that you think are a cop out. For example,
Like
the-
for me,
yeah.
even talking about design argument, the human body in itself, it's not perfect. There's so many things wrong with it that could go wrong. Tomorrow you could become disabled.
Right.
So
Based on whose volition? Your will, your choice. You cross the road with your eyes closed, of course you're going to be disabled.
you never even know, something may go wrong internally.
Yeah.
Nothing out external.
If you're consuming bad foods because you're working night shifts constantly and you're trying to get that deal with the Japanese or whoever, bro, it's going to happen. All that curry is going to mess up your insides. Do you see? Now, coming back, and other thing, when you're saying something is badly designed, a car with 3 wheels with a dodgy engine doesn't mean it wasn't designed. It doesn't take you out of the fact that it was designed. It's just not the
Yeah, but
design
God
that
is
you're
meant- God is
expecting.
meant to be all knowing, all powerful,
Absolutely.
all omniscient, omnibenevolent, and omnibenevolent with a.
But has
all
he
loving God.
created us as a perfect creation?
Well,
Or has he created us deliberately with flaws so we can get to know God and not live like we're gods? It's the latter.
I would probably live in a world where everyone lives as gods, but obviously that's not the real
Tell me
world.
about it, brother. Tell me about it. Well, let's come back to the main point, yeah? You're dependent, I'm dependent, yeah? We're dependent on X, X is dependent on Y is dependent upon Z. If we put everything, the universe, everything that's dependent in a set and call that set dependent things. Are you with me so far? You
Yeah,
agreement
but
with me?
what is not dependent then? If
No
that's
problem. Let's stick with this first. Let me get your agreement on this. So you believe
Because you
you
could just say everything's dependent on each other. We're
No
all
problem.
interdependent to some level.
and I'll get to that. If you think there's a hole in my argument, I want you to jump in. Yeah. But for now, you do believe that everything around you, including the universe, is dependent, right?
Yeah.
So we put everything in a set. Everything we put into a mathematical set. All of these things are dependent.
Sure.
Dependent on what?
Each other. Not God, but each other.
Then that leads to a contradiction, right?
Why?
Because
Explain.
it's like a mother giving birth to herself.
No, but she had a mother.
It's like a mother.
I don't know what you mean. How does that?
It's a circular argument by saying that a mother is giving birth to herself. She can't give birth to herself. She was given birth to by somebody else.
Yeah.
So it's a circular argument. By saying you depend on such thing that depends upon you. It's a circular argument. You depend on that thing which is dependent upon you. Does it make sense? Take your time if you want to. I'm not going to rush you.
Yeah.
I want you to think about it.
I mean, what comes to my mind is just we're all interdependent. So it's not. I'm not necessarily thinking about it in terms of that example.
I got you. Let's keep it with this example. Everything in this set is dependent. That thing, this set, is it dependent on something dependent or independent? Logically.
I would say dependent because I don't naturally point to God, but
no, let me go with you. I'm not gonna. You don't have to then defend your answer. See how I'm gonna resort to it first. If that thing is dependent, then you add it to the set of dependent things.
Yeah. Okay.
So the question still arises: what is that set dependent upon?
Well, that's why I said at the beginning, everything to me is dependent.
Right. On what? Because dependent by definition means
on each other, on each.
No, because think about it. Look, so
interdependent.
So here's the thing. I'm dependent on water.
Yeah.
Water's reliant upon particles, is reliant upon energies and forces and this and that. Ultimately, it has to come to a point where we're like
the water cycle. It goes in a circle. What's wrong with that?
Right. But the water cycle goes into a circle because it's in a closed system. I'm not talking about a closed system. I'm talking about outside of the universe. So the universe as a blob. Is that yours?
Yeah. Sorry.
No worries. Is it important?
I don't know how to turn this off.
I think you have, yeah. So the water cycle itself is still dependent upon water molecules, is still dependent upon forces.
So it sounds like you're trying to get to the first uncle's cause, no matter how.
I don't know what uncle is. What's an uncle?
Uncle?
Yeah, you said first uncle. Oh, sorry.
First uncle's
cause. You know, from the beginning, I kept thinking you were saying uncle.
No.
Yeah.
First uncle's cause, because it just sounds like anything I say, you're just trying to get back to something independent that's uncle's.
But surely that's the logical.
I wouldn't say so. Why does that have to be the case?
Because then, let's just say, if you depend upon yourself, firstly, it's a circular argument, and secondly, that's akin to saying.
But I never said I depend on myself. I depend on my parents.
Yes.
They depended on their parents.
And eventually it ends somewhere, right? It has to end somewhere. Or do you think it becomes a circle again? Where your great
the circle of life. We look for food.
Like the great grandfather depends on you. Come on, bro. So your so the one whose lineage you've come from, eventually, he depends on you.
You don't depend on him because he's dead.
But that's what your circular argument says. Yeah, it needs to be circular like a water cycle. That's the first thing. Yeah. Second thing is when you're saying that set depends upon itself, you're giving it independent properties, which we call God. You believe the set itself is God, i.e. the independent one.
Do we not have independent properties?
No, I'm talking about an independent existence, not properties. Because you're not an independent existence. The universe is not an independent existence. We all depend by definition on something. Otherwise, you know, if you say, oh, we all depend on ourselves, everything that we know falls apart. Because every cause has an effect. It's called the principle of sufficient reason. Now you're saying things can come without causes. Everything that we understand about the natural world becomes illogical and nothing works.
It's like arguing what came first, the chicken or the egg. None of us know.
We do. It's the egg.
But you're automatically.
The egg came first.
How so?
Because there's something that's within the egg that's not within the chicken. This answer's been debunked many times.
But the chicken's obviously evolved. We've not had the same.
But you can't have the chicken without the egg.
The chicken we have now wasn't always the same type of chicken.
Absolutely.
So we evolved.
It's changed over time.
Yeah.
It's changed over time. I'm with you on that. But the egg came first. But coming back to this point, bro, surely you're not saying just to prove that you are not dependent on anything. In order for you to do that, bro, you have to take away the most fundamental belief that humans, scientists, geologists, historians hold sacred, which is cause and effect, principle of sufficient reason. You're saying, yeah, for the universe, nah, let's throw that out the window. Then you know what? Then you're open to contradictions, and you were. You're open to saying your great grandfather gave birth to you.
Even if I was to accept your point about the first uncle's cause,
Yeah.
the problem still comes with the attributes of this so-called God.
That's a secondary argument that we can get into, or discussion rather.
I've
But
already
first-
heard them before, and I'm just giving the benefit of the doubt to you. Let's just call this one that started this whole chain God.
No,
Which is hard to believe anyways.
the thing is, I would rather you maybe hear the argument from a different perspective.
Because it took millions of years for these planets we have now to have formed. It didn't just come,
That we know of.
yeah.
Yeah.
They didn't just come in a they came in a millions or billions of years.
Right, but how does that prove an independent existence?
So why would God have made this long process occur?
Right, so are you saying that
Well,
just because it's a long process, therefore God doesn't exist? Come on, bro.
But I'm just pointing at different. I'm just making different.
You're,
points
it's called
because you're reaching for this first uncle's cause, whereas me, I'm not dependent on this God.
You absolutely are,
exist.
bro.
No.
By definition.
Why?
Because your alternative is, rather than being dependent on
I'm
something
dependent
independent.
on my father, my social circles.
So you're going to say
society-
social services.
even society as a whole.
And who's
Yeah.
they dependent on? And who are they dependent on? And who are they dependent upon? It has to go to a singular. That's what I say, bro. You don't just
Why
stick with
though?
your.
Why?
Because it's
I still can't get
Right.
my head around why.
because for us to, anything that we do or we say, it's based upon certain fundamental laws of logic and principles, right? Like the principle of sufficient reason that I've said a number of times. We cannot understand the world without the principle of sufficient reason. For you to say, no, we depend on ourselves, you're pretty much saying that, yeah, things can be affected without a cause.
I believe
special
in the,
pleading.
In the
It's
cause
special
and
pleading.
effect. I believe in cause and effect.
So
But
then
I
you
just
have
don't
to accept.
I don't reach for an independent first uncle's cause.
But you know, when you look at anyone, whether it's Aristotle, whether it's Plato, whether it's Leibniz, whether it's all of these guys, Descartes, which are these philosophers.
It's interesting to think about,
Yeah.
but why do you automatically have to reach for it?
Because, bro, definitionally and logically, it leads to contradictions and absurdities if you don't believe in something independent. That's what I'm saying. You can't believe in your worldview without resorting to contradictions and absurdities, which you just admitted.
So, and you think it's reasonable to believe in some sort of mystical,
Independent
invisible,
existence.
and let's give him independent as well.
No, it's by definition independent existence as opposed to dependent.
Okay.
But even if we just discuss about this particular thing and you hear the argument from a different perspective, bro, that's enough for me today. Yeah, you don't have to grant me anything and then we just talk for the sake of it. I'm genuinely here to get you to think from a different perspective that gets you thinking, because honestly, bro, whatever criteria you use, philosophical, rational, logical, all of these criteria point logically and rationally towards a necessary existence that fits the criteria of the Islamic God. For example, this necessary existence by definition has to be a singular, has to be independent.
So apparently,
Let me finish. Pre and post eternal, and nothing like it. This is the 4 criteria. You know this in Surah Ikhlas, right? Chapter 112. Qul huwallahu ahad. How long were you Muslim?
a year or so.
Yeah. You didn't learn Qul huwallahu ahad?
I've heard of that. There is something about God being one.
Yeah, so it's the 4-pronged approach. one, independent, pre and post eternal, and nothing like it. It's our definition of the necessary existence or the independent existence being God.
So if God is so merciful, or this God you're pointing to, that apparently is the first independent cause, if he's so merciful, why is there all this suffering? And don't point to shaitan or all these things, because like I said, he's made us full of issues, health issues, issues with social issues, with against each other. He didn't. This is a badly designed world. He is not merciful. He is not all-knowing, or maybe he just don't know. Maybe he did design it, but maybe he just don't know.
I've got you.
And then there's so many attributes I could.
I've got you. Let's stick with one. Let's stick with one.
Yeah.
I'm not going anywhere. So then I might lose the multiple things that you've said. Now, we believe Allah is merciful, but we also believe He's just. We also believe He's all-knowing. And all of these attributes come together. Now, bearing all of that in mind, when God created everything, He gave us all free will. Now, free will means that we have a choice. If you want to self-harm, can you self-harm?
Sure.
But if you say, no, God should stop me, then do you have will? Do you have a choice? No.
People get harmed.
Do you have a choice if God is controlling if you can harm?
I have a choice.
No. In that example, so in that example, you are choosing to harm yourself. If God intervenes and stops you, would you have a choice if you can't harm yourself?
Depends how He intervenes. If it's directly, indirectly.
Well, however you want, directly.
Well, then He's intervening, so then I don't have a choice.
There you go. So it's a consequence of free will that bad things happen. It's as simple as that.
I don't think it's that simple, because you could argue that we don't have free will. Some people are born without mental faculties.
But
so what kind of free will is that?
Yeah. So do you believe?
And we're all of different.
Do you believe you have free will? Do you believe you have free will?
To some extent.
So
but there's some things I can't control. Like
we agree
one
with
easy one is my sexual urges. I feel like we don't really.
How many people have you raped?
Me personally, none.
So you can control yourself?
Yeah, me, but I know the consequences, and
but you said you can't control your sexual urges. That was the best example you gave me, and you just proven to me you can control it.
I have a certain level of intellect because I know of the consequences, so I use that.
Are you trying to say that other people are dumb?
Well, what can you say? Either they are dumb, or either they just don't care about the consequences.
So you've just admitted you do have free will. You have exercised your free will to control your sexual desires, while somebody else.
And like I said, to an extent, there's some things I don't really have free will about.
Right, but the example you gave me is something you can control. So you do have free will on this. That's my point. God has given us free will. You can step in the middle of the road if you want to. You have a choice. You can, choose to give me a high five.
I have discernment.
You can give me a high five if you choose to, or you could just leave me hanging. You chose to leave me hanging. That was free will. Do you see? So that's what we believe in Islam. Yeah, that if a person chooses to eat bad foods, they're going to fall ill and have a shorter life expectancy. If someone looks after themselves, exercises, there is more possibility for them to live longer. It's cause and effect. Exactly the same principle that I was saying that you want to cut out when it comes to the independent existence. Why? Because you just can't fathom that everything by definition depends, but depends on what? No, itself. So you resort to circular reasoning, which is incoherent.
I would just go back to it was how I was raised, that I don't rape. It's a bad thing. So, but anyways, like I said, with free will, you could argue that some people don't have free will, because some people,
like what?
There's child killers out there.
Yeah. And what happens when they kill the child? They get stung in prison.
Yeah, but I'm saying you could argue that these people were born this way.
I don't know about that, bro. Are you arguing that?
Like in the Liverpool case, where those two Who were those kids that killed the little toddler? There's people that say these people were born this way, or maybe it's their upbringing because they had terrible parents. But either way, where is their free will?
Okay.
This is the situation. You're
Were
so-called, all loving, and merciful God put them in.
Were they still punished by the law?
They were prison, yeah. They were in prison.
But if it wasn't their mistake, why were they punished like everybody else?
Because the government have to set an example, and I would do the same if I ruled. I would butcher rapists to set an example. It's not about even retarded rapists. I would butcher them because even if I would want to put such fear into hearts. So people would never dare to do such things.
Don't you? Okay, just state your argument again. Because
I'm just saying that the free will, there's different levels to free will. That's what I'm trying to.
No, I agree with you. I don't know if you heard me. I'm a compatibilist. I believe in certain things you don't have free will. In certain things you do. But I'm talking about the things that you mentioned about good or bad things happening. I'm saying because we've been given free will, it's a choice that we've been given to do certain things. Now you're right to say that if you've been brought up in a certain way, then that's fine. It's alright, sorry, leave it. If I don't have an issue, then no, you're here, bro. It's fine. So yeah. So in that sense, because of the presence of free will, and I said that God has given us free will, therefore we're responsible for our actions. Were free will not there, then we'd be puppets on a string, and then you can't say that, you know what?
But people do that. Governments, rogue governments use people.
Absolutely. And they're exercising their free will.
But they don't necessarily have free will. People are more, have inherent traits. Some people are more bad. Some people are more prone to thieving than some other people.
Right. So as a society then, we help those people because of the reason you've said. They've been brought up in a certain way. So we have institutions in place that can help those people.
In this country, yeah. Well,
no, generally speaking, even if
some countries they just chop their hands off. Isn't that in Islamic?
What for? What?
For thievery.
If you've stolen something, that's a punishment that can be given. Yes, absolutely. Just like you being snatched from your family and slung in prison and given drivel to eat, separated from society, not allowed freedom of movement, just like this country has selected that as a punishment. So different countries, in some countries, if they catch you, they will kill you. Like in certain tribal cultures, that's what they have agreed to, democratically speaking. So going back to like tribal issues, even tribes, what tribes do, if someone is struggling, they will put things in place to help that person. That's what we do, which is again non-Darwinian. But the point that I'm trying to say,
I would argue it is Darwinian because for society to continue, we have to be sympathetic to each other. Because I think this is, I forgot when they found this skeleton, but it was tens or maybe even hundreds of thousands of years old. But we saw that they had the people around this skeleton must have built them a cast because they had a broken leg. They wouldn't have been able to.
That's inference. It's a guess. No one saw it happening.
But I'm saying we need to have sympathy for each other.
No, but that skeleton that you've seen, scientists have made an inference that it could be that. That's not. It's an inference, just like anything else. Believing in God is an inference.
So you think it was an old person who had a broken leg, you think they would have been able to have broken their leg? It's a good inference, okay? I'm not even going to
It's an inference. Somebody could have fixed their own leg. Who's to say somebody helped them? They are bringing a moral issue into that, saying someone helped them and there were people around them. Maybe that was just a mass grave and there were a bunch of people that were thrown in there and a guy happened to have a broken leg.
Has there ever been a society which is not sympathetic towards other people? Let me give you that.
Yes.
Since you're saying that it's not Darwinian.
Yes. There have been people in the past, communist, USSR, some would argue even Hitler, that if people were weak, they didn't fit a certain criteria of the supreme race, they were killed. There's a lot of those examples in the past. And they were non-religious, ironically speaking.
Hitler was a non-religious?
He was born a Catholic, but he followed the philosophy of Nietzsche.
Doesn't make him religious.
I don't know. He didn't claim he wasn't like a churchgoer, was he?
He massively claimed that he was inspired.
He was a
by
big
God.
fan of Islam, as far as I know.
Where are you getting that from?
He was.
You're asking me.
Yes.
Okay.
You made a claim.
He met with the Mufti of Palestine various times. I think they definitely met because I've seen pictures of them together. And I know this Mufti helped build a Nazi brigades in
Okay, one sec.
places like Bosnia.
1 second. So if you meet with another world leader, that means that.
During the years of the war.
So I mean, British rulers,
have many
they
direct lines.
they met with the Nazi leadership as well.
And I think
What does that mean?
He openly said that he would like Germany to be a Muslim nation.
Yeah, just like Christians wanted Germany to be a Christian country. So what?
I'm just saying he had a big fondness for Islam.
Yeah, and I'm telling you, the British rulers, they had a big fondness for Nazi Germany.
Hang on a second. What?
Like Lord Rothermere of Daily Mail. He would often talk highly of Hitler and the Nazi
Well,
party.
they're both colonial empires, so what do you expect?
Even IBM.
That is not a surprise. But Islam, because a lot of Muslims paint that Islam is not a totalitarian system or colonial, it's anti-colonial, whereas I would say to some degree it is, because they changed the language, they Arabize people, you know.
Give me an example.
I see you big on
Exactly. Because we didn't do what the modern colonial powers do, which is import, pillage the land, bring resources into their country, suck them dry. That's not proven of the old Islamic empires. They didn't bring things in. Rather, they developed things and they let the people get along with what they did.
They let people get along with what they did.
Yeah.
So why did the East Africans somehow in the 9th century end up in Iraq through the Trans-Saharan and what's the other one? I just call it the Arab slave trade. How did they end up in Iraq, in Basra, and hold a big revolt, one of the biggest revolts in history? How did that all happen?
Right. So you're saying that just because said ruler of a certain religion does something, it's now reflective of the full faith.
Yes.
That's a fallacy.
I don't think it's a fallacy because
I'll tell you. One second. Netanyahu, yeah, who claims to be the leader of the only Jewish nation on the planet, he's committing a genocide.
It's a secular state.
It's a secular state, but they claim, he and the Likud party claim it's a Jewish state, the only Jewish state on the planet. Now, he is committing a genocide. Is that reflective of all the Jewish people? No. George W. Bush, when he invaded Iraq and in the end he killed 1 million people, he said he was told to do by God in his visions and in his dreams. Is that, because he was a Christian, is that now reflective on the Christians?
Yes.
So all Christians,
Yeah, they're sick. They're sick. Some of them are sick.
I would disagree with you and say just because George Bush did something, it now doesn't copy paste on every single Christian. I think that's a fallacy, that's wrong. Because George Bush is an individual, he did things out of his own
I
volition.
don't understand. I think it was wrong that they invaded Iraq for weapons of mass destruction.
Yeah, there were none.
Because, why didn't they invade Pakistan? Because they got nuclear weapons. They should have invaded Pakistan.
Who did?
America, Britain, and all the allies that invaded Iraq. Why
And
did
then
they do
Pakistan should have invaded America because they got nuclear weapons and they're the only
no,
country.
they're
Wait
allowed
1
to.
second. They're the only country that has dropped nuclear weapons. The only country.
that? Yeah.
America. So you should take them from them. All the countries should get together and remove nuclear weapons from America because they're the only ones that have misused them.
Didn't they get attacked first?
So it's okay to use
And
them.
do you know about the...
How many countries have been
I
attacked
don't-
first?
I don't even
One
wanna-
second.
Yeah.
Look at how many countries get attacked first, bro. Does that mean you can wipe out Hiroshima and Nagasaki? Bro, Hiroshima and Nagasaki were places that were picked.
It's a statement. It was a statement.
Is that okay?
It is what it is. Might
It
is
is what
right.
it is.
Might is right.
Okay, then
Might is right.
do you support because Pakistan got attacked? One second. Pakistan got attacked by India. Are you now okay?
Did they?
Yes,
I
India.
thought it was Pakistanis.
No, they claimed something happened,
Yeah.
but militarily India invaded Pakistan a couple of months ago.
Yeah.
Now, because they were attacked.
But that's because some Pakistanis
One
done
second.
something
One
to some
second.
Hindus.
One second. But militarily, India invaded Pakistan first. Does that now mean that Pakistan is okay to drop nuclear weapons there?
I would say no.
It is what it is, though,
just
bro.
using the harm
It is
principle.
what it is.
Yeah, but all I'm saying is...
Why didn't you
it
use the
was
harm
wrong.
principle when America did it?
It was wrong.
Why
Well-
didn't you use the harm principle when America did it? My point. Special pleading. One rule for America, one rule for Pakistan.
Yeah, because I accept America's hegemony. They are the big dogs. And that is what it is. They
Out,
defeat
out,
the
of,
breed.
out of morality or out of
They-
might
they-
is right.
No, because they're the biggest. Aren't they? How many? What is their population? 300 million. They accept.
China's
people,
bigger than America.
They accept people, but they. Accept,
China's got more population than America.
But you can't be a millionaire and live happily in China.
Can't be a millionaire and live happily in America.
There's a lot more millionaires, but in China it's frowned upon, and they'll take your money if you do anything against.
No, they
the
don't.
government.
In fact,
Jack Ma, they took his money. Jack Ma.
no, they didn't.
Found off Alibaba.
His thing is still going. But here's the thing. Look, so America dropped an atomic bomb on Japan when even British scholars say that Japan was ready to surrender. But you're right. They did it to send a message to the Russians. And you're saying that it is what it is. Bro, are you serious? Yeah, it is what it is. Take
That's
their
what-
weapons
that's
away.
What war is. Even when Muhammad was
Then-
killing, even when
then
Muhammad
everyone
was
will be
killing
dropping
Jews,
weapons, isn't
even
it?
when Muhammad
Then
was killing
everyone will
Jews,
be dropping nuclear weapons.
Yeah.
We'd have Armageddon. If it is what it is.
That's why there has to be a hierarchy
Huh.
that you have to respect. Russia and America is at the top of that hierarchy.
Who decides?
I don't know how Pakistan even got these weapons in the first place.
What about Israel?
Israel?
Yeah, they got nuclear weapons
Yes,
as well.
but the old founder of the atomic bomb, Einstein, who helped, it was a Jewish project, so they have every right to, their people invented it.
So it's okay for them to have nuclear weapons when they claim that they are the chosen people.
They can claim whatever they like, I don't really care.
No, but you said it's okay for them to have it. How the hell did they get it? The people that colonized the country took their land and continue to keep the Gazans under an open air prison. Come on, bro.
Well, they did get attacked on October 7th, so anyways.
But who got attacked
I
in
don't know what to
October
say
the
about
5th?
Israel. I don't know what
Who
to
got
say.
attacked on?
I'm
Who
not
got
against
attacked
Israel.
on? You're
I'm not
against it.
Israel. I'm not against Israel.
Then
so,
who attacked the Palestinians on October the 5th? October the 4th? October the
What
3rd?
happened on October the 5th?
It was the colonization, and they kept killing their kids, taking them, arresting them, bullying them, raping the women.
I would say, and I've talked to Palestinians about this, it's their fault for accepting refugees in the first place. This is why we shouldn't take other people from other lands. Everyone should have their own land. and that's it.
UK
why
allowed-
did they take refugees?
UK,
They're stupid.
100 countries took Jews as refugees. Are they all stupid?
Well, look now what's happening.
Including
So-
the UK and US. But you said we must respect the authority, US.
Here,
They're now colonized by Israel. Alai? There you go. They can't breathe without Israel saying, you should have asked us first. This is the
Maybe in
strongest
Brit-
country on the planet.
No, but here Arabs also. Don't forget the Arab influence because the
Weak.
Qataris.
They can't even protect Gaza, bro. What influence? All the Arab countries are doing nothing as the Muslims
Yeah,
are getting
because that's
butchered.
by their free will. It's not like.
You don't believe free will, though.
It's not like they want to help them.
Bro, they can't.
Even if they wanted to,
They can't.
They wouldn't. They wouldn't. Even if they wanted to.
Many Arab countries do, but they just can't.
What do you mean they can't?
Because America will bomb the living daylights out of them, because you got people like you saying atom bomb is okay, might is right. Hey, what you gonna do? Do you see?
Sorry, I just got lost in my.
No problem, I'll wait for you, bro.
What were we talking about?
We were talking about might being right, Israel, and then America being colonized by Israel. You saying not allowing migrants, and I'm saying 100 countries allowed it. America was one of them. Now they're colonized by Israel.
So now, all right, then if now that this so-called, now that this occupation taking place, they should take the Gazans, and they're talking about it, aren't they?
Is that okay?
Well, like what's happening is happening. Like you say, they can't do anything without Israel.
Okay.
Then
why are people complaining in this country that Muslims are taking over? Let them take over then.
But there's too much like Arab influence. Like I said, the Qataris.
Yeah, but they're strong. They got money. Let them take it over.
Than the royal family.
Somebody else could have bought that property. We
might
got
as
free
well-
will, right?
We might as well.
Who
just
sold
have
it to them?
We might as well just start speaking Arabic altogether.
Do it. But British people got free will. British people sold it to them. Did they not make a choice that we'll sell it to them?
This
Yes.
is the establishment. This is the capitalists.
And they made a choice,
This
right?
is not normal everyday British people. That's why I feel a bit of sympathy for ordinary British people. But it is what it is, obviously.
But you don't feel sympathy for the Gazans, ordinary Gazans.
Did I say that?
No, from your rhetoric, when you're saying, yeah, they should just let them get taken over, they were silly for letting people in. The wording there is different to the wording when it comes to the UK and US. Over here, you're more conciliatory. Over there, you're very much aggressive, tone-wise.
Because they've attacked Israel many times. When are they going to learn?
Since World War
When are they
II,
gonna learn?
since World War II,
They're always going to lose.
since World War II, which country?
That's why I said I respect the power of Israel and America. I know their power.
Then why don't you respect the power of the Arabs when they're buying up London?
Because it's our money. It's technically our money.
Well, it's our country, technically our country. It goes both ways, bro.
No, because they got oil. If Britain was
And we got land.
If Britain was such a colonial force, they would take that oil by force. But instead,
They did initially when they were a power, like 1951. Mohammad Mossadegh of Iran, they deposed him. They got rid of him. Why? Because he tried to nationalize BP. America and UK got rid of him and installed a dictator,
Okay.
the Shah. Since then, the Iranians have been pissed with the UK and US. A lot of people don't know this. It's worth looking into. 1951, 1950, Mohammad Mossadegh, who was the leader, the Brits literally by force took the oil. 1920, 1950, 1970, if you look at the Foreign Office reports here in the UK, they said it's within our national interest to keep Kuwait divided, to keep Egypt divided. The oil-bearing principality, so they did do this. Iraq was invaded because of oil. So even now it's happening as well.
So now with all this trouble going on, and now you still think somewhere in that head that there's a all-loving God.
Absolutely, because Islam was dominant for at least 12 to 1300 years. It's only been about 200 years because the Muslims got soft. The Muslims they didn't stop. They didn't follow their religion
They weren't
as
dominant.
they needed to, or as they should do. They became slaves to the world. So if you become a slave to the world, Allah takes the world from you. And that's exactly what happened. The Muslims return back to Allah, then the world will be given back to them. Simple, and we believe near the end of times that will happen. The Jews believe it will happen to them. Christians believe it will happen to them.
I don't think the Islamic Golden Age lasted for as long as 1,200 years. But anyways,
What do you mean by golden age? It was very long, bro.
I don't think it was as long as that. But anyways, I mean, the Islamic Empire was very big, so there's different parts you can point
Yeah,
to.
different aspects, yeah.
But anyways, in the last 100 years, what has Islam brought people?
Why is the last 100 years the criteria and not 1400 years since the Prophet came?
Because Christian civilization in the last 20 years has come up with
20 years.
innovations.
20 years.
AI for being one. AI being one.
Yeah, no.
That's what Christian civilization.
And you do know
has come up
AI is a collective effort, and China is putting in resources, Arabs are putting in resources, and the West is putting in resources. There's no one person that can be searched up as the founder of AI. However, when you look at the technology required to make AI, algorithm, where did the word algorithm come from?
Listen, Muslims didn't come up with computers. It was Alan Turing. Whatever mathematical equations Al-Khwarizmi came up with is nothing on the level of Alan Turing or the AI we have of today. So you trying to compare,
Right.
like I said, I'll give the props to the Islamic golden age, but it's dead now, and all Islam is
But
today.
remember, my question was, where did the word algorithm come from and the word algebra come
I
from?
already told you from who.
From?
Al-Khwarizmi.
Yes, Al-Khawarizmi,
So,
good.
I
So
already gave
why
the
has
props.
it come from there? Why? Because algebra, the founder of algebra was Al-Khawarizmi, the one who's articulated it in such a way that it's beneficial to us today in terms of algebra, in terms of algorithms, and these things are important for AI, for computers, for softwares. Now,
They had their golden age, and we've learnt from it, and that's why the Christian,
so they needed the Muslims, right?
well, we just learnt from them and made everything more efficient, better. Even the slave trade, the Muslims, the Arabs, or Muslims, sorry, Muslims, slave trade lasted over 1,000 years.
Whoa, where are you
The
getting that
Christian
from?
slave trade
Where are you getting that
lasted
from?
the transatlantic slave trade lasted for mere 400 years.
Where did
and
you get
now
1,000
we've
years
built
from?
the new world.
That's I haven't heard any literature say 1,000 years though.
Saudi, Oman,
Saudi didn't
all
even
these countries
exist.
didn't. They only
Bro,
banished slavery.
Saudi only existed like about 100 years, 100 odd years ago. It didn't. It existed post Ottoman Empire. How are you talking about Saudi
Yeah,
doing
and
the?
all these empires, they did not abolish slavery until the 20th century. Whereas Britain,
Who abolished
whereas
slavery?
Britain.
No, they didn't.
So who did?
It initially started off with the Haitians in France. They're the ones that are credited Toussaint and Dessalines. They're the ones that actually fought the French, and eventually in about 20-30 years they took over Haiti and became the first slave independent republic. Thereafter, from the Western
Because God-
countries,
Jesus helped them, and the Black Madonna helped them.
but you don't believe Jesus was divine, right?
I do.
How do you believe he's divine when you don't believe in God?
Because he helped the Haitians, like you said. So since you mentioned that, definitely wasn't the Muslims that
Didn't he die on
helped
the
them.
cross though?
Pardon?
Didn't he die?
He died on the cross and resurrected after 3 days.
So who was helping him when he was being crucified by the Romans?
No one helped him. He died.
So if he couldn't help himself on the cross, how is he going to help the Haitians?
Stand back from the comments, please.
Because the Haitians were being brainwashed by colonialists, and it was the power.
The colonial Christians.
Well, it was the French.
Because if you actually
the
look,
British.
if
It
you
was
look
the
in the
French and the
Bible,
British.
if you look in the Bible, Paul actually says to the Christians, "Don't speak back to your slave owners. Don't rock the boat. Don't do that." How is this getting rid of slavery? It's encouraging the people to continue being enslaved.
And in Islam, it says when you conquer a tribe or a village, you can have sex slaves. There's conditions to it.
The word
And
sex
which-
slaves is not mentioned in Quran or Hadith. This is an English concocted term. It's actually from Numbers 31:18 and Deuteronomy. This concept, which
So-
people superimpose on Islam. Islam doesn't do this.
All right, let me ask you then. When Muhammad, after the Battle of Haybar, killed Safiya, is that her name? The
He
Jewish
didn't kill
wife?
Safiya, he married her.
Yeah, he married her. But he killed her whole family, her husband, her father, and her brothers.
Why?
Was in the battle. Apparently.
Why did the battle take place?
I don't know the battle too well, but
This
from
is
what
the
I
most
learned-
important
from what
thing,
I
right?
learned, there were some treaties that were broken.
Not
This is
not
what
not
people have
some
told me.
treaties will
This
be
is what people
broken.
have told me.
Not
But
some.
it doesn't matter.
No,
What
it does
what my
matter.
point
I'll give you an
No,
example.
it doesn't.
Okay.
It matters because he's annihilated a woman's whole family, and then Muslims look at him as a righteous man because he married her and he didn't let her go into slavery. Because that's what she would have been. Because she would have been a bounty of war. Is that one of the chapters of the Quran, right? Bounty
Right.
of
I'll let
war?
you finish. I'll let you
Is that- is
finish. Bounty of war.
Is that not
I
it?
don't know what you're referring to.
Okay. It's a chapter, no, in the Quran.
I don't know what you're referring to.
Okay,
You'll have to
never
tell me
mind.
the chapter.
Never mind.
So when it comes to America, when it comes to the UK, you look at intent. Yeah. However, when it comes to the Prophet, when you look at Islam or Muslims, no, you look at the action. Firstly, that's a hypocritical standard. Secondly, if a treaty is violated, I'm sorry, but according to the Bible, it's fair game. In fact, according to 1 Samuel 15 verse 3, even their children, the suckling infants, are fair game. In Islam, the monks, the women, the children, the trees are not fair game. There are rules of warfare that are not present in the Bible. Wait 1 second, I listen. Now, when you look at these conditions that have been put, now one such condition that nobody denies, that if you as a country, many times the treaties, you've drawn up treaties with people rather than killing them. Yeah, you've had an agreement. That person has violated the treaty. Your people have been killed once, twice, thrice.
Right, because
absolutely.
you're spreading some message that no one wants to listen to.
So it's okay for you to break a treaty that you've agreed to. This is a hypocritical standard now that you're only applying to Islam. No, this is a universal standard. If you're breaking multiple treaties, eventually there is and there must be a consequence. Otherwise, if you say that someone's getting their treaties multiply broken, then you say they're weak, they're pathetic. They do not deserve to lead. Why? Because they are inept. They're not looking after their own country because they're allowed.
He's a ferocious warrior, and I'll give him that. But is he a good moral example?
Okay.
I don't think so.
During his time, the Prophet, peace be upon him, had, maybe 40 to 70 battles. How many were killed? How many casualties?
I don't know.
Take a guess. Because you're saying he's a ferocious warrior and he's doing this and that.
Well, in the Battle of Khaybar alone, it was 600. So
I'm asking you a total in 10 years.
So a total, if you've said 40 battles, so then times 10, 6,000. I'll say it's in the tens of thousands, if not hundreds of thousands.
If you look in First Kings, yeah, one battle that was done, 100,000 casualties took place. One battle.
We don't know how reliable that is.
It's in the Bible, brother.
Just because it's in the Bible don't mean it's 100% reliable.
Where did you get Jesus from? You got Jesus from the Bible.
Yeah, but there's external non-biblical sources about Jesus.
No, Jesus, external biblical sources not
Josephus,
claiming. No,
he's a Jew. He's nothing to do with the Bible. There's
did he claim that he was divine?
Non-biblical.
Did Josephus say that he was God and he was divine and resurrection took place?
But he confirmed he got crucified. Unlike the Muslims who completely lie and say he didn't get crucified. So
why is it that we lie and then Josephus says something and that's the truth? Isn't it testimony? Whose testimony you take?
Faith. It's your faith. Fair enough.
Then you're taking Josephus's faith. Why is Josephus correct and we're wrong?
I was raised Catholic, so this is my belief.
No, just because you're raised Catholic doesn't mean Josephus is right and what the Muslim saying is wrong.
I'm just giving you a non-biblical source because you're pointing at the biblical as the record, as an accurate historical record, which it may not necessarily be.
Right. Even if you take, let's just say,
and I would say the same to the Quran, but some Muslims believe everything in the Quran is correct, so I'll leave them to it. They believe what they want to believe.
What was the point that you mentioned before that?
I don't believe the Bible.
Before that. The main point of contention now. I lost my train of thought.
We were talking about the how many deaths, that in Kings there was hundreds, thousands.
100,000, yeah? And you said just because in the Bible it's not true. I would tend to agree with you. I don't believe the Bible to be true, but many people live and die by the Bible. When it comes to the Prophet's 10 years, there were only 4,000 casualties, and that's including Muslim casualties as well. So comparatively speaking, even when you look from 0 to 2008, majority of the casualties, killings have been done by Christians, not Muslims. By any standard you look at, it's the Christians that have murdered, pillaged more than the Muslims. Dropped atom bombs.
Chinese done a lot as well. So
no, but it's not in comparison with the Christians.
Christians.
Yeah.
I mean,
it's a study done by Naveed Sheikh from
Russia,
0 to 2008.
Is Russia a Christian country?
I mean, if you take USSR,
when
it
they
depends.
became USSR,
they weren't a Christian country.
Exactly. They killed their monarchy.
They were anti-theists. Yeah, anti-theists come second. First come Christians with 100.
That's why they killed their monarchy.
Christians come number 1 with 178 million. Number 2 come anti-theists, and number 6 are Muslims. This is based on the study done by Naveed Sheikh.
They built the new world, so we can enjoy today's world because of.
No, it's newer than the world that was before. Before Muslims made the new world.
Islamic slave trade. That's okay.
No, that's I don't know why
Or slavery in general.
I don't know why.
Because it was the British who abolished it.
Just because Muslims happen to be part of that slave trade doesn't make it a Muslim slave or an Islamic slave trade. It's Muslims that were part and parcel of it. Just like there was a slave trade that took place afterwards, Jews were a part of it. Was it the Jewish slave trade? Of course not. Was it the Christian slave trade? Of course not. Just because there are certain people that are part of it doesn't make it a part of their religion. To claim something is part of someone's religion, you have to go to the texts. And the texts do not claim that you should willy-nilly take people as slaves. In fact, in the Quran, we're only told
it says you should emancipate people, right?
Yes.
But in practice,
are you told that in the Bible?
I don't believe so. But in reality,
that speaks volumes.
In reality,
that speaks volumes.
In reality, though, no, because emancipation is in the mind. It's not about. It's not about.
Games,
it's not about what's in the Quran. Because
I beg to differ,
no
bro.
Lives by the
Slaves
standard,
don't care about emancipation of the mind. They want emancipation in real life, bro. Tell a slave, yeah, I emancipate you in my mind. He says, well, okay, keep that in your mind. How about take these shackles off and stop,
So how were the
locking
Haitians
me?
able to
They
beat
fought.
their slave masters?
They
How?
fought
With what?
With
what
wars,
power?
sticks, with guns, wherever they were able to amass. They fought the French valiantly.
I don't think it's that. You might need to do more research on that because
Me or you?
They did pray to something higher than themselves when they did beat their slave masters.
But you said initially that's a placebo. You can pray, but it doesn't necessarily have to mean anything.
Yeah, and that's why I'm a agnostic. I believe in God.
Yeah, then why are you saying it was because they prayed to Jesus that happened? You're picking and choosing now. You're contradicting yourself.
Was Jesus a brown person or was he black?
He was a Palestinian,
So he was
brown
black.
person. Well, not that we know of, no.
See, so in my culture, I don't even want to talk about it because I don't
Yeah, you
care
don't want
about
to get into race, yeah.
But I would let me just leave that at that.
Bro, I actually enjoyed this conversation. I hope you did as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like you, bro. And I think it was good that we get to bounce these things off each other and explore the different ideas.
I'm glad a lot, because normally in these conversations, a lot of people get involved. So I'm glad.
No, because I have a different demeanor and my conversations are different. That's why I wanted to have a conversation with you.
I appreciate it.
Bro, take it easy.
Thank you for watching. Subscribe, like, and hit the notification bell to keep you updated with the latest videos.